Good morning and welcome in on this Friday morning. The magpies are chattering like mad on the roof next door, so apologies if you can hear their chatter above my chatter, but you know, that's the way of the world. The door is open. It's a summer's day, so yeah, welcome in magpies as well. So my name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and we've come on this morning to do some crafting with you at the start of what is going to be a very busy day for us here in the lily pad, because well, I have 2 Zoom classes and a bingo night, a games night this evening. So I shall be spending most of the day standing in front of this camera in one guise or other, but really looking forward to doing all of those things today. We're starting off with adding metallics to your project class, and then we're doing a soft pastels class, as I say, and then we're finishing the day with a games night. But before that, I'm here with you, and we're going to be doing some crafting as well. So busy day. So let me bring the camera down and move my mouse mat out of the way. Just stretch and put it over there so we can find it if we want it later. And this is me. So if you're looking for me on my website or social media, you'll find me under the title of Love-a-Duckie, wherever it is you're looking, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. I'm there as Love-a-Duckie, so do come and check me out. But before we start crafting, there was a couple of little bits I thought I would share with you. First of all, hi Glenda. I had a team craft and chat this week. So my little team, we have a regular get together once a month. It happens over Zoom. Hi Lee. And we just generally catch up with each other, share some projects. Carol shared a beautiful memory album that she'd made with the gone completely blank now as to which papers she'd used, but it was studying the harvest papers out of the new catalogue, so she'd used those to create a beautiful memory album. That was really lovely. So we just have a lovely evening, and we also did a 6x6 one sheet wonder. So these were the projects that I made. Everybody just was instructed to bring a piece of 6x6 paper and some matching cardstock and things. So these were the ones that I created. All of them were different, but it was really lovely. It's always really lovely just to gather as a team and sort of catch up with each other. So yeah, it's all about being part of a friendly community. So if you are here in the UK and you are not already a member of my team, I can see 2 little names up on the list that are, but if you're not already a member of my team, do come and join us, because it is a fabulous little community of ladies, but we're happy to welcome gentlemen as well. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that these go live to customers next Tuesday. So it's the mini catalogue that says on there July to December. It is actually going to run August to December, and celebration, we're getting a second celebration this year. I can't show you what's inside these, I can only show you the front covers. Morning Angie. But if you live here in the UK and you haven't got your hands on one of these and you would like one, do message me. I would be delighted to get some sent out in the post to you, so that you too can benefit when they go live on Tuesday. So I think that's sort of news. Let's get crafting. I thought what we would use today is this butterfly Brilliance bundle. So it's not anything new. It is actually in the annual catalogue. So it's one that's been around. It launched as a sort of early launch. So it's been around for a little while, but it's been a little while since we with it. And I was just generally, as I was preparing for things the other day, I thought, oh, fancy getting that out and having a play with that. So that is what we're going to play with. So you've got this gorgeous stamp set, this big stamp set with all of these butterflies on that obviously you don't have to use as a whole. You can cut them out, and in order to help you cut them out, there is actually a die. So you've got a die that will cut out those butterflies. Let's ease that off the back there. It's stuck to the magnet on the back there. So you've got the big die that will die cut all of those stamped images, and then you've got all of these beautiful, intricate, delicate butterfly dies to cut little butterflies, as well as these pieces that will give you background elements as well. So it's a fabulous bundle, and one we shouldn't forget about. But we get so excited with all the new things that come out that sometimes we forget about that annual catalogue. Oh, a COVID research lady coming soon. Yep, we'll watch on catch up, and I shall be seeing you later anyway, Jackie. So yep, so this is what we're going to be playing with. We're going to be playing with a bit of Butterfly Brilliance. Not yet got this big daisy background stamp. That's rather beautiful as well. Lovely for making some stunning quick and easy projects. Right, so I think for our first card, I'm going to take the big stamp, and I'm going to use the big stamp, I think, for both of these projects. And we're going to have a bit of a play with different ways that we can use it. And I am going to take my Stamparatus. I don't think we need an ice cream stencil though. Neither are we going to need a sponge mat, because it is a red rubber stamp. So let's pop that just there. I'm going to take some I'm trying to decide whether to go black on white or white on black. I think I'm going to go white on black. So I'm going to take a piece of A4, or a piece of basic black card. Let's chop a bit off. I'm just going to chop it in half for now. And I'm going to line that up in there. Let's bring it down the bottom there so we're not wasting all of our card. So we'll have that come down there. Let's pick that up. Sorry for the wobble. I'll just pop those two magnets across the top there. And let's find ourselves an embossing buddy, particularly with black card. Although we don't sell these anymore, it is still well worth having something or something like it in your crafty stash. Pop that empty box just underneath there, and we will ink this stamp up with some Versamark. Very big stamp, so we'll give that a good press. This is where you don't have to use your Stamparatus for this, but the fact that it is such a big stamp, and we might be glad of going in a second time with that Versamark, which I am going to do, just to doubly make sure Sorry for wobbling you. Give you a real life experience. Morning, Lee. Lisa, how lovely to see you. Right, so hopefully now, with the angle I've got this at, I can't pick that up very well. Yes, there is definitely butterflies on there. So let's come in with our white embossing powder. And let's give that a bit of a flick. Just going to grab that's not a very little paintbrush. I think I've left my little paintbrush over on the other desk. Hopefully that will do the trick. I'm not too worried about these edges because we're going to die cut these butterflies anyway, but we will just brush off the excess where we can, otherwise we'll have white blobs all over that piece of black card. So let's bring in our heat gun, our heat tool. And let's heat that up. And obviously as it heats it goes a brighter white, it goes from quite a dull powder to a far more vibrant white. Which is useful because that means you can see where you've been. So as always with your heat tools, you don't want to be flapping it around. You're just going to follow around on your image, melt the one piece, move on to the next. You don't want to overheat it. So there we are. A flutter of white butterflies on some black card. Leave that to one side for a moment while we get out our big die. It's very torturous in here this morning. Over the road we have a little sort of shopping area. I'm just not convinced that that end bit is done. Let's just double check. It seems to have a flurry of powder. Yes, over the road we've got a little bakery. They do gluten-free things and all sorts of things. And they are obviously baking this morning. To start off with, I thought, oh, somebody's cooking toast. But it's not. They're cooking bread. That's very mean, isn't it? I'm going to spend the entire morning feeling peckish now because all I can smell is the smell of bread baking. I think if they're going to do that to us, they should at least pop round to all the neighbours with a sample. Do you think? Right, well, let's run that through the machine. And to pop those out. How beautiful are they? So we've not got bright colours. It literally is black and white, but they're quite stunning. Now I've grabbed here, this is a bit of a new favourite. This is the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. So the huge big pack of paper that you can get as a host reward, or if you've spent or you need to spend £170, because there it is right in the back with the host and earn section. It costs £17 in UK figures, which means that you would need to have had an event that generated sales of £170, or you would need to have put in a £170 order to get £17 worth of stamping rewards that you could then spend on your paper. But boy, is it good value for that. Is it £17 well spent, because you get 48 sheets in here, and on one side you've got all these beautiful bright colours and patterns, and on the other side it is all black and white. And we are going to go pick out some of the black and white. So what do we want? Do we want something like a spot? Do we want a flower? It's quite fun, isn't it? That sort of this stripe. These leaves are beautiful. I have some of those. And then these are sort of tend to be whiter, so you've got a white stripe spot there, sort of white linear spots, and these are more of a white random all over spot. And you've got that crisscrossy sort of crosshatch sort of type design, and a nice gingham there as well. So I think I'm going to take a random spot as well, I think. Let's find our other half of a piece of basic black card, and let's I'm just checking I've got no other comments. Let's just score this in half. And fold that in half. Put a bit of this so that it is, let's go 14.4. And you just trim a bit, that is perhaps 3 centimeters down there. Yeah, I think that's quite a good border width. And we'll take the spotty one Go 14.4. Obviously, whatever your first size mat is, wherever you are. 3 centimeters is just under 1¼ inches. Probably would be a nice round figure to go with. So I'm going to make this 7½, just so that there's a little bit of overlap. A bit of white dotty. Got a bit of black leaf there. White Brilliance and black sparkly ribbon to go over those 2 bits. I'm going to stick those down directly. I'm going to wrap the ribbon all the way around, and I will attach it on the back, and then we will cover that up. So let's put a spotty bit down first. This is a really lovely pattern on here, this sort of granny apple green flowers on. Gotta get our glue going. It's not woken up yet this morning. There we go. And then this one's got this nice sort of scallopy pattern on the back, but we're going for these sort of falling, tumbling leaves. You could have great fun sitting and colouring those in nice bright autumnal colours. If you didn't want it to be black and white. Let's take a piece of that ribbon. Snip that off. Ooh. Literally fingers and thumbs here. Just going to stick that on the back. We will disguise that inner piece in a little while. We'll tidy that up. But for now, let's just stick it down. So that's given us some sparkle on there as well. Lovely little ribbon. So now we have our butterflies. Obviously, we don't need to use all of these. We can save them then as a for another project. We'll perhaps use those 3. I'm going to pop the other 3 to one side. And I've got the In Bloom stamp set here. I think I'm going to use this Happy Birthday, You Really Are the Best. Let's find a block for that. We'll need to go H. bring in a little piece of black card. And we'll ink this up. I'm not worrying too much about having a sponge mat under this because I'm actually stamping on my whole pad full of grid paper. It actually gives it a little bit of sponging underneath anyway. Let's go for the reveal. Make sure we've got it all. Ooh. Put my powder on the wrong end of the card. There's that paintbrush just here. So a little bit, I think perhaps it didn't stamp quite well enough in that centre bit. We'll see how it comes out. Just going to, the pencil could do with sharpening a little bit actually, but my pencil sharpener is in the other room. Let's have that coming across the centre there. Now I've given these wings a little bit of a curl, sort of a fold and a curl, just to give them a little bit of shape. I'm going to put a dimensional on the centre and then on these outer wings. I might come in with a mini dimensional down here. And I'll have that coming over there. I have one stuck down a little bit down there, and then this one will also just give a bit of a curl too. And he'll definitely want mini dimensionals. just have the 3. Let's pop him up a little bit higher. Okay, Jane, we look forward to you catching up with us later. Enjoy. I hope it's something nice that you're out doing. Let's have a few little of these matte black dots. I do love these matte black dots. There, let's take a bigger one, and I'll have that down here. So there we have butterflies in black and white. I'm going to do, moving everything out the way, just because I want to get to my printer. What I will do with this card is I'm just going to take some copier paper. Fold that in half. So this is the folded end just here, and this is the loose end. I'm going to cut that to 13.9 centimeters. I'm going to fold them both in half together, and it would be really helpful if I'd have cut that to the right length, wouldn't it? I thought that seemed like a big chunk off of there. Let's just pretend we didn't do that bit. Let's fold this bit in half. So just in case you didn't get what I was doing, with the folded side, this side, I'm going to cut it to 13.9 centimeters as opposed to 12.9 centimeters. That looks a bit better. And let's fold them both in half together, and let's trim them to 9.5. So hopefully now what I've got is two 13.9 by 9.5 inserts, because we wrapped that ribbon right round the card. So we want to be able to tidy that side up. So rather than just putting a card insert in this side, I'm going to put a hole insert in. So what I will do, I'm not going to reach for my stamping seal. And let's just put a bit of stamping seal on this side. Let's line that up in the centre there. Close that down. So there we have, now we've tidied up that inside, so we've got a nice little insert in there, but we've covered up our ends of our ribbon, so that's all a little bit tidier. So we could take one of our other butterflies and have those just stuck inside there. We could take another one to add to the envelope if you wanted to, but there we go. So we've got a little butterfly inside there as well. So there's a black and white butterfly card. I love black and white, Glenda. Yeah, it just pops, doesn't it? And the nice thing about black and white, so the nice thing about a card like that is you could also turn that into a sympathy card, thinking of you. It could be a get well, as well as being birthdays, anniversaries. They just, black and white is so versatile. And I have 2 butterflies left over, which I could no doubt create another project, which is always good. Let's bring in our stamping scrub the right way up. A little bit of a spritz. I introduced my granddaughter to the stamping scrub the other day. She was quite fascinated by that. I'll pop that back in there. Put that ribbon back. And then let's have a little look at card number 2. These bits out of the way. Right, for my second card, I'm actually going to take some shimmery white cardstock. Just cut it in half again. Let's bring back our Stamparatus. Lay that in there. And this time I'm going to stamp it with stays on, so we might definitely be glad of coming in for a second stamp, because stays on is not the easiest ink always to work with, because it is alcohol based, because it dries so quickly, particularly on a big stamp like this. You sometimes are glad to be able to go in for a second bite of the cherry. So yeah, we very definitely need to go in a second time. I'm wondering if this stays on pad is in need of a re-ink. I'm going to actually try my other staging pad to do that's a bit darker. Being alcohol pads, they do dry out easier than normal ink pads, so they do tend to want re-inking. It's looking as if actually that's smelling stronger as well. And you also find with stays on that as it builds up on the stamp, Still not perfect, but certainly better. Much better. Right, so there's one, and I'm now going to do a second one. We could have done this with Versamark and black embossing powder. That's the other way of getting a outline image that isn't going to run. Now we have our black embossing powder back in the fold. I think that will do. See, that needs a good scrub and cleaning up in a minute. So I'm going to take, I think I'll die cut these first. So let's die cut both sets. Didn't quite run it through the bottom there. Not going to worry too much though, because I've got some. I'll die cut those, the rest of those later. Let's come in with these ones. I had it too near the bottom of my plate and didn't run it all the way. It didn't have enough of a sandwich to cut those bottom pieces. But that was user error, not machine error. There we are. Perfect. Bring out my water painters, and I'm going to choose 3 pairs of butterflies. So we'll have that one, we have the big one, and that small one just there. I think let's move the rest out of the way for now. And I'm going to paint the 2 pairs so that they match. So let's have, how much we have? I think we'll have let's take the in colours and have a bit of a play with them, I think. I've just got some ink on the lid of my let's come in with some pink. I think there may have been some yellow on that paintbrush. That's right, it looks quite pretty. Just means I'm not going to be able to reproduce it because I'm not sure what colour was on it. Let's start with some pink. We're not going to worry about them being absolutely identical, but we're just going for hopefully nearly there. So I could bring in some spots of colour. You can use your ink refills rather than using the lid of your ink pad if you want to, or you can take your ink pad and put some ink onto a block and use that as a palette. Let's come in with some pale papaya. So you can really play about with your colours, and you can either go onto Google or Pinterest and look up butterflies and paint your butterflies so that they match actual butterflies out there in nature, or you can create your own that Mother Nature hasn't yet thought about. You do tend to get more vibrant colours if you're using your ink refills. And you can still put your ink spots into the lid of your ink pad. You can just still use this as your paint palette. Let's just pick up a little bit of evening evergreen just for this body section. Okay. With one pair, I think I'll bring in some fresh freesia for this one. Let's pick up a bit more ink on that block. And then just use our brush to take it from the block to our butterfly. I'm actually going to come in with some rich raspberry. Similar sort of tones, but slightly darker, slightly redder. And then let's go. Let's see what I was looking for there. Let's just have a bit of blackberry bliss down that centre. Because that's going to be darker again. And last but not least, we've got these little guys. Picked up some bumblebee just here to come down the centre with. And let's come in pale papaya. Slightly more peachy sort of a colour. Obviously, the more you add your paint, your water painter into these ink palettes, the more diluted they become because you're adding in water. Just going to pick up a little bit of pink around the edge. Okay, butterflies galore. Let's move ink pads galore. Let's move some of those out of the way. So what I've got down here, ready for this one, is I've got some soft succulent card that I'm going to cut in half at 10.5 centimetres and score. At just shy of 14.9. I've got ink all over my hands and I've now got ink all over my card. I want to make sure that goes that way because I've got some paper to go on the inside of here. So I've got this from the Bloom Where You're Planted paper pack. So I'm going to put a piece that is 10 centimetres by 14.4. Just deciding, I think I want to maintain the I'm going to turn that mic on. For some reason, my laptop has shut down StreamYard. So let me continue on here. I don't know what happened there. I must have possibly hit a button. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick 3 butterflies on the front, and then we're going to add their their friends on the back. So let me take some dimensionals for this front piece. Excuse me, I'm just adding myself back into the stream. There we go. No, it's not your iPad. I must have lent something. The mouse must have been lined up perfectly with the cutting it off piece of the laptop. Right, so let's we'll have that one there and have this one coming here. So I'm laying these on with dimensionals in this top section. And we'll have this little one down here. And to take a piece of this cardstock and just cut a piece that is, this is 2.5 centimeters as well, or about an inch, because then we can cover up that piece at the top so that we can't see the tape. And then we're going to take our matching butterflies, and I'm going to add these with glue dots on the back. One, two, three, 4. So let's match that up on there. The glue dots now have dots on the, seem to have the dots on the inside of the reel. Whereas they were on the top, they're now on the bottom, which probably means they don't transfer themselves to other things unwittingly, but it just is having to remember. Let's line that butterfly up on there. And then last but not least, probably will only want 2 glue dots on this one. There. So for this one, I did grab the Peaceful Moments one. What shall we have? Let's go with a thank you, I think. I'll take a little bit of the shimmery white cardstock because that's what we've stamped the butterflies onto. And perhaps we'll go Evening Evergreen. That doesn't want to stick. It is feeling sticky. Oh, but I expect my block may have ink on it. Let's try the other block. That's a bit better. Still not perfect. Thank you. Let's come back in with the soft succulent cardstock again. Up there, I think. A bit of an angle. And I'm going to finish that. Not. I was going to add in some little dots of the Cosmic Shimmer dots because they would show through the both sides, but I might go on and do that in a little while. But there we go. So that's going to be very shiny on there. But you've got the tentfold card with that acetate front, with the butterflies flying down the front and flying down the back, with that paper from the bloom where you're planted in the background. So there's two very different cards using that stamp and those dies. It's not easy to get a good shot of that one. So there we go. So if you've got them and you've put them on your shelf and forgotten that they were there, go and get them out and have a bit of a play, because you can have great fun. And just the little individual butterflies are just fabulous to add on to lots of other projects. So it's well worth just having some stamped and put to one side, ready to dig out and add as an embellishment, as well as just as a central focal point on your projects. So now I'm back. Apologies for disappearing. Now I am back. I can come in and say farewell now. No doubt see some of you later. As I say, busy day today. Hopefully not too many technical hitches. So have a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back with you on Monday when we will really be getting excited about the mini catalogue launch next Tuesday. So do come back and join me then. So in the meantime, have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you all very, very soon.